Hi, Tenacious, Batch 10, thinking of you with great love, remembering some of the names God gave you: Fiery Sword, Carrier of His Presence, Warrior Queen, Storyteller, Ray of Light in Deep Waters. I love all the names God gave each of you, and I loved our time together. Felt so privileged to be able to share the word of the Lord with you. And today I want to talk to you. I just want to tell you a story. I want to give you a scripture. I'll give you 3 questions to meditate on, and a chapter to meditate on, and also a video by Hezekiah Walker as well. And maybe you can dance to that in the privacy of your room, or I'm not exactly sure what your scenario is at this point. But I just wanted to bless you and say how much God is committed to your thriving and to your good. Joey and I, when we were first married, we lived on a little island in Micronesia. It was 24 miles long, 4 miles wide, and it was warm, and I snorkeled every day, and we rode motorcycles, and we went through caves looking for loot from World War II. There was a interesting myth on the island that there were gold in some of those caves, and it was an ideal time of our lives. It was 2 years of just great joy, along with some heartache. But we went from there to the east coast of America in Rhode Island, and it was the worst snowstorm in 50 years. People were stranded on freeways, the equivalent of your M4. It was called I-95. And for 2 weeks, Joey would help the National Guard just as a volunteer to try to get cars off that freeway. Some people died in their cars, many people walked off. They were stranded at the amount of snow that was dumped and couldn't drive, and so I-95 became a parking lot for about 5 miles. So because we couldn't go anywhere, we walked to a little church nearby, Zion Bible Institute. There was a tall, dignified African-American man preaching named Dr. Leonard Hero. I've never forgotten what he said. He was preaching out of Psalm 29, the voice of the Lord, in that beautiful African cadence of poetry that ascends and descends and is such a beautiful art form. If you want to see me in heaven, I'm going to be black. I'm going to play black, and I'm going to preach black. But anyway, he just went on so eloquently. He preached so eloquently on Psalm 29, the voice of the Lord. And in it, he just did a crescendo of the voice of the Lord breaks the cedar, the voice of the Lord shakes the barren desert, the deserts of Kadesh, the voice of the Lord causes the deer to calf. He went on, and after every verse he would say, and the voice of the Lord in this storm is saying, but then he never answered that question. I was in my 20s and young and sitting on the edge of my seat, and I was like, what's the voice of the Lord saying in this present storm? I had no idea, and at the very end he dropped to a whisper, and he said, the voice of the Lord is saying in this storm, you are not in control. Now, I've heard thousands of sermons my whole life, 63 years of sermons. I'll never forget that sermon, and that's the gift I want to give you today, is the knowledge that you are not in control. And the fact is, we are never actually in control. And to lay control down at the feet of Jesus, expectation, anticipation, laying everything, our calendars, our possessions, our times are in his hands. And the beautiful thing is God is in control, which you'll hear shortly from this video of Hezekiah Walker. God is in control, and that is a beautiful thing. Jesus in John 14 said, don't lay aside your fear. Surrender your fear to me. Don't let your heart be frightened. You believe in God, believe also in me. I'm preparing a place for you, and God has given us a Psalm 91 place of dwelling, of safety under the shelter of his wing. It's such a beautiful thing to know we have no fear in life, no fear in death, that we are fearless to walk in our true identity. There's nothing that we need fear except fear himself. God says in Isaiah 8, don't call conspiracy what others call conspiracy. Don't fear what others fear. Don't dread what others dread. Should not your fear just be of me? And when we fear God, we can fear nothing else. I have been lately, probably the last 2 years, just laying everything I can at the feet of Jesus. Expectation, anticipation, callings, promises, prophetic promises, desires, theologies. I just keep laying them at the feet of Jesus. And I think it's not a one act play, it's a lifetime of just handing Jesus everything and just being ready in the moment. Knowing God is in control will last you so beautifully through the lovely story God is writing with your lives. You will, in the prophetic, be able to just not ever stress because God is in control and you don't have to come up with anything. You can just say whatever you hear in the moment. You will be at rest because you fear no evil. You fear nothing but God Himself. So I want to give you 3 questions, darlings, and I want to pray for you. Question number 1, what is Jesus inviting me to lay at His feet? Spend some time with that. Question number 2, what assumptions, presumptions that do I have about the future that the Lord is inviting me to lay at His feet? And number 3, is there any fear in me besides the fear of the Lord? Take those seriously to the Lord, maybe meditate on them. I'd encourage you to be praying Psalm 91 over those you love, those at BCH, and also your extended family. Be sending them little love notes. I'd encourage you to rewrite Psalm 91 for yourself. Just look at it in a couple translations. The Passion is excellent. Look at it in several translations and maybe write a Psalm 91 version that's the storyteller version, or it's the Presence of God carrier version of Psalm 91. I'd also encourage you to listen to the video of Hezekiah Walker singing God is in Control. And you can even dance to it. Maybe, I don't know what your situation is, if you're isolated in your rooms or whatever, you can maybe do some great dancing with Jesus on that song. Sending my love to you, all of you at BCW, the staff, to Kath, and saying the beautiful thing is God is in control. God is in control. We need not fear a thing. Much love to all of you.